What up, guys and fellow lovers of the cube world? Welcome back to another redstone video with me, Giorgio, of course. How are you doing, guys? How is life treating you? I am great. A bit too busy again with university stuff, homework, quizzes, and whatnot. You know the deal, right? But even though I have less time to play Minecraft, I always try to take a bit to log in and play some blocks. Anyways, guys, so there's one video in my channel that has brought me more watching hours, more views, and even more subs than any other video I have posted. Even to this day, in every week recap from YouTube Studio, the little recap that they do every week at YouTube Studio, that video is still the most viewed every single week, right? And of course, I'm talking about the 4 times hopper speed shulker box unloader tutorial, which I thought I had done more recently, but apparently it was almost a year ago, so I am so sorry to have taken this long to come up with version 2.0. But anyways, the original shulker box unloader is this one right here that we have, and look at it. It's quite nice. It's quite compact already. It works a charm. And as I said, it's the one video that has brought me the most views in this channel. So I think it's pretty cool, the little system here. However, guys, there is always some room for improvement. So well, some of you guys were aware that this thing wasn't really tileable because of the quasi connectivity powering the next piston. So, for example, if we powered this block, it would trigger both of the pistons and it would break both of the shulkers. So it wasn't great. It didn't happen always, but it wasn't great when it happened. Um, and also, some of you noticed, actually, most of you noticed that this system cannot handle empty shulkers. So, yeah, I decided to focus on that because the thing of the tile ability is not that really popular when you are dealing with shulker box unloaders, because not a lot of you need a lot of shulker box unloaders, and if you do, you can just leave an air gap in between both of them, and it will still work just fine, right? And it doesn't occupy that much space. But the empty shulker thing, that was a big thing. So I decided to focus on that, and of course to compact this a little bit. So this is what I came up with, and as you can see, it's pretty good. It's quite nice actually. The volume is exactly the same. We have 2, 4, 5 blocks times 2, 4, 6 blocks, but of course the last 2 blocks here at the bottom are just for the hoppers and the chest. Here, on the other hand, we do have one more block occupied by the actual system, but in this one, this is just the system right here at the top. And well, it's cheaper. It's just a tad cheaper because you cannot really do that much with a system that it's already quite small. But I try to make it cheaper, and as you can see, I use less blocks in this one. It's way easier to build because, well, it has less blocks, right? And yeah, the big thing about it is that it can handle empty shulkers. Now, guys, before I get into the explanation of how it works, I have to mention that this system took me a while to figure out. I already said that, well, it was almost a year ago that I came up with the last one, and around 7 months ago, probably a bit less, I started working on version 2, and I got it working quite well. It had still some issues, and it was not as compact as this one. But then I forgot. I got distracted with with other sets of projects and stuff that I forgot about this version. And until a few days ago, when a comment dropped into my YouTube feed, and it said that, well, where's the second version? We want the second version, Giorgio. And I was like, oh yeah, the second version. I should probably work on that. So I grabbed my Minecraft, my computer, and kind of retake on this project. I had to remember all of the progress that I had made before, and yeah, before I had made like 5 versions, 5 iterations of this. Well, a few days ago, I made like 8 more iterations of this until I got finally this final one, and it's very, very smartly planned and smartly done. It's working quite well. It has some little features that actually make it very, very cool. But yeah, after like 13 iterations in total, I finally came up with this. So it was a lot of effort. Hopefully, you guys can appreciate it and show me your appreciation with a like. um, Otherwise, you can just leave me a comment with your dislikes about this system and with your comments and suggestions and whatnot. Anyways, enough blabbering. So the way this system works, it's actually quite similar to the last one. We still have the shulker being inputted into this hopper and into the dispenser. Once the dispenser has the shulker inside of it, the system is going to be detecting that with this comparator. This node block is going to be strongly powered because right now it's weak powered because of the redstone block. But once it's strongly powered, it will also power this node block and quasi power this piston. This piston will send a signal to this sticky piston and will extend, putting the redstone block right here in front of this observer. What this does is basically locking this hopper and this dispenser so that no other shulker can get into the dispenser and no other shulker can actually be dispensed. Once it's placed here, it's actually quasi-powering the dispenser, but the dispenser won't know just yet. What makes it aware that it's powered is basically this update of the observers that are being that read this redstone block once it's placed in front of this observer, and it updates or it powers this piston just for a tick. That is enough to update the dispenser and say, "Whoa, you have a shulker, man! Dispense the shulker." So it dispenses the shulker. If it's empty, then nothing else happens. I mean, the only thing that happens is this comparator is detecting that the dispenser is now empty again. So the power, of course, cuts off. We send a signal back to this piston. It will retract. It sends a signal back to this piston, this sticky piston up here. It will retract the redstone block. It will power again this piston. It will break the shulker and it will land right here in the hopper. Why is it not being sucked by the minecart? Because the minecart is right there, ready to suck any broken shulker that we break. Well, because when this node block stops getting powered or gets powered again, it sends a signal back to this sticky piston down here, which pushes or retracts this honey block, taking out of the way this minecart so that it cannot suck the hopper. If the shulker has items inside of it, though, this comparator will also get powered as the shulker gets dispensed, which means that the power of the node blocks never ends up. This piston never retracts, the redstone block never retracts, and this hopper minecart never gets pushed out of the way. Until, of course, this shulker is empty again because of the unloading, and the whole system does the previous thing once again, and it resets itself. If by any chance you are one of the few people that actually understood that, um, congrats to you. That was I try to do my best when trying to explain this. But it's a very complicated system, and if you actually understand what I said, you probably realize that it's a very, very cool redstone. We're using a lot of quasi connectivity bugs to make it work perfectly, and we're also using some little tricks to kind of make an AND gate with these two node blocks. It's very cool, believe me. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I finally did, and it works a charm. It works a charm. So, anyways, let's get into the tutorial because I've already talked a lot, and probably you are getting bored at this point. So, I finally did a list of materials, or at least I put all the materials in a barrel so you could see them. Believe it or not. So yeah, these are all the materials that we need, and as you can see, it's very cheap. The thing that we need the most of is hoppers, and we only need 8 of them, so it's not a whole lot. But anyways, the materials that we need is 8 hoppers, 4 observers, 3 solid blocks, 2 sticky pistons, 2 normal pistons, 2 node blocks, 2 chests, 2 comparators, 1 dispenser, one redstone block, one barrel. This of course can be changed for a hopper, a dropper, whatever storage device that you need for your empty shulkers to fall in. Then we need a honey block, a minecart with hoppers, so that makes it 9 hoppers in reality. Two temporary end rods. This is just to align the hopper minecart. One temporary rail. It can be a power rail. It can be a normal rail or whatever, and a temporary block. So these are all the blocks that we need, and I'm gonna take them right now so that we can actually build the system. We're gonna go here far away from those, and of course, as always, we're gonna start the system by deciding where our output is gonna be. Mine is gonna be right here with this double chest. You can of course decide whatever you want as an output, but basically we're gonna connect this double chest with 4 hoppers right at the top. This is why we need the 9 hoppers or the 8 hoppers, because of these 2 extra. But if you are using maybe a storage system, an external storage system, you may be deleting these 2 things and just have the 4 hoppers connecting to your storage system somehow. But right now I'm just gonna use a double chest that is gonna be filled by 4 hoppers, just like so. Then we're gonna come to this side. We're gonna place a temporary block right here besides this hopper, and then we're gonna place a sticky piston facing into the hopper, kind of. Then we're gonna place a honey block in the face of that sticky piston. We're gonna come to the other side and we're gonna place a barrel right next to that sticky piston, just like so. On top of the barrel, we're gonna place a hopper, and right on top of the sticky piston, we're gonna place a block, normal block. The next thing we're gonna do is grab our 2 comparators and place one on top of the hopper, one on top of the solid block, and as you can see, they're both facing that way, kind of at the contrary or the opposite side of the honey block, just like so. Then we're gonna come to this side. We're gonna grab our normal piston, or one of our normal pistons, and we're gonna place it here next to the hopper, facing the same way as the comparators, so that way. Then we're gonna grab our 2 node blocks and we're gonna place one on top of this piston and the other one right next to it, right in front of the comparator. The next thing we're gonna do is grab some observers and we're gonna place one here right next to this node block, facing upward, reading the face of this piston once it's extended. And then we're gonna place a solid block right on top of it. We're gonna grab our sticky piston and we're gonna place it right next to the solid block with a redstone block right on its face. I know I'm going a little bit too fast, but just to calm and, well, slow the pace out a little bit, this is how it should look from this side. As you can see, it's like a little stairway, and this is how it should look from this side, another little stairway on this side. From top, it should look like this, and from the front or the back, depending on how you consider it, it should look something like this. The next thing we are gonna do is grab our dispenser and we're gonna place it right at the back of this comparator, facing into that way, right where the shulker is gonna be dispensed, so that this other comparator can read it. We're gonna grab one hopper and we're gonna place it on top of that dispenser. The next thing we're gonna do is grab our observers and we're gonna place one on top of this comparator facing that way, and the other one reading that last comparator facing that way. Then we're gonna grab our temporary block, we're gonna place it here, and we're gonna place our left normal piston right below it, facing into where the shulker would be. Let's retrieve that temporary block because we're gonna use it in a minute. But for now, that's the whole system for the top, and the only thing that we're missing is of course the powering of this piston, which is actually very simple. So we're gonna come down here, we're gonna place an observer right below that node block facing downward. Oh, I just broke the floor. And then we're gonna place a solid block right at the bottom of that observer, just to power that sticky piston. Then we're gonna come to this side, we're gonna place our temporary end rods, one on top of this node block, the other one at the bottom of that normal piston. Then we're gonna place our temporary block right next to that honey block. We're gonna place our temporary rail on top of that temporary block, and then we're gonna place our hopper minecart on top of it. We can now remove the rail, and if you want your rail back right now, you can just check into the minecart hopper. It should be there. Then we're gonna stand on top of the block where the minecart is sitting on. We're gonna push the minecart to the corner until we cannot move it anymore. And as you can see, it's locked in position right next to the end rods. We can now just remove our temporary block. The minecart will fall into position. We have to remove this end rod right here. If you want, you can leave this end rod just for the looks, but I'm gonna remove it because I like it better that way. And the whole system is basically done, guys. As you can see, it's a very simple system. You don't really need that much. If you pay attention to the tutorial, you should be fine. I will also leave a link to the download of the Litematica schematic for this very system down in the description, so you can check it out and download it if you have troubles following the tutorial. But otherwise, I mean, it's very simple. Just a few warnings. So if you place blocks right on these 4 positions, you're gonna mess the minecart, so leave those positions free of any blocks. Otherwise, you can basically fill up the whole thing if you want with whatever block, as long as it's not a redstone related block, by the way. Also, leave, of course, this face of this piston empty, and of course this block right here in front of the observer empty, because those are the ones that move. And you do not have to place anything on top of these 3 hoppers. Yeah, other than that, you're free to just throw your style at it. um, this barrel is where the empty shulkers come in, so you can basically extend it, maybe downward or maybe that way, so that you can take your empty shulkers to wherever you need them. Otherwise, the barrel is just fine. Of course, all of your items are gonna end up in this chest, so you can basically connect it to whatever you need. And you can also connect this hopper to a hopper line to input all of your full shulkers to be unloaded. Just be aware that these 2 blocks are where the redstone block moves, so it's gonna lock these 2 hoppers, so do not place hoppers there. Maybe go around it like this, or maybe go the other way. And actually, if you go the other way, you can actually put the hoppers 1 block down. And yeah, that's about it from the system. If you want, you can also place just a chest right on top of this hopper and fill it up with your shulkers. Otherwise, I think that's it. If you want to test it, I forgot the shulkers. Let me get them just a second. Here we go. This is an empty shulker. We're gonna grab it. And this is a shulker with 3 stacks of observers. We're also gonna grab them. We're gonna grab it, and we're gonna input them into the hopper. So as you can see, we're gonna first place the 5 empty shulkers, just so that you can see that the system handles them pretty freaking well. It's a bit noisy, to be honest, but as you can see, we have the 5 shulker boxes, the 5 empty shulker boxes here inside of the barrel, so that's perfect. The same would happen. Actually, let's remove some observers so that it happens a bit faster. The same would happen with the full shulker boxes. So we have to wait a little bit as they get unloaded, but yeah, they get unloaded pretty fast, at least at the first 5 stacks of it, because of the hopper minecart. So we're gonna wait for them. It shouldn't take that long. Too long. And yeah, just this one. That's it. And we should see all the 5 empty shulkers here on the barrel. So as you can see, that part works flawlessly. And of course, the unloading of the items also works flawlessly. Here we can see the 4 times hopper speed, and it's finished. It's very fast. If we were to combine 3 shulkers of each, we can also do that. So we do this, and we'll see the system handles them. As you can see, all of the empty ones get immediately broken and stored inside the barrel, just like that one. The ones that do have items, the system protects it with that converter, and it breaks them. So we should see 6 shulkers right here, alternating colors, and all the items should be down here. So that's about it, guys, for the system. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you enjoy it. As I said, this took me a while to figure it out, and I actually had forgotten about it. So sorry about that. I decided, since you guys actually want to see it, to replace it for the video that should have come out today. And instead, that video will come out later. But it's also redstone contraption. It's a pretty cool one, but I think this one is way cooler. I had much more fun designing this one than the other one. It was so hard. I like challenges. I'm weird like that. But anyways, guys, hopefully you like it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up down below. I would also really appreciate if you consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Don't worry about the videos. I'm gonna keep uploading even though I have less time with the university. But otherwise, still expect my frequent videos every week, every 2 weeks at most, hopefully. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.